There we are. Okay. Hello there, everyone. Based stream coming. I know you guys like the reaction streams. I remember. Yeah. Yeah, you guys like the reaction streams. So that's what we're doing today. Because I saw something that was pretty egregious, and I was like, well, okay. I can either make a video about it, which I'm not going to do, or I can ignore it, which I'm not going to do. Honestly, it's a little. What do you mean, boo? What does bro mean, boo? Yeah, we're talking about Raditz again. Raditz is like he's a benchmark. That's what Raditz is. Raditz is a benchmark character in. Sorry. But yeah, Raditz is a benchmark character in power scaling. You know, like the Espada from Bleach or the Akatsuki from Naruto. They're kind of. Oh, you did. Okay. Yeah, you did spook me. You spooked me a lot. No, that was pretty scary. I was terrified. But Raditz is a benchmark character. Like the Akatsuki. You're decently strong for the verse. Actually, not for the Akatsuki, because like the Akatsuki's kind of fodder, low-key. Or the Espada from Bleach. That'd probably be. Yeah, like you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to fucking hammer this shit in. If you still want to send it to the Discord, it would save me the trouble of actually having to... Ah, crap. Yeah, there we go. It would save me the trouble of having to actually look up the video. So, yeah. Is it Lonks? Yeah, it's Lonks. Yeah, we're talking about Lonks takes today. Because, I don't know, it's a drug, man. Every time I talk about Lonk, like, something happens to me. I get a little worse. I was stressing out. I was like, ah, man. You know. And then I was like, oh, I know what'll calm me down. We could shit on... we could shit on... we could shit on Log today. That'll be a good idea. Oh yeah, someone in the Discord brought up a good point. I already did this. I did this exact topic. Hold on. Flashbang. There you are. I did this exact topic. I did a tier list ranking on like who could beat Raditz, who couldn't, and I might need to update that video. Actually, you'll see. But I literally did this video. Is law? I think it's just a coincidence. I don't think he's like actually. Why am I looking at the stream? I'll just open it up on my phone again. But I already did this video, and I'm not saying that people can't do videos more than they can't do videos that other people haven't already done. Excuse me. Or you know what I mean. Just because I made one does not mean that other people can't make one. I just think it's funny. Especially with, like, I made Goku versus Gojo, and, like, 100 million people did that before me. I did a whole bunch of other shit. So, yeah. We could just get into the video, actually, because I don't need that open anymore, but I do need wait, no, I don't need... I'll keep Discord open, but I do need this. I'll keep the Undertale music on, because it's helping me cope. Okay. It's going to be a lot of pausing, obviously. But yeah. Could Raditz solo Black Clover? Nah. Nah, probably not. Black Clover actually has good scaling, unlike most of the new gens of this generation. That was ironic. That was a fucking redundant statement, but like Black Clover actually has like potential planetary or solar system, maybe universal arguments. Black Clover characters are also like actually very fast. So I'd say Black Clover is probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest new gen. Especially compared to, like, the new gen Big 3, which is, like, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, and... No way to get past Infinity? Well, we'll find out, I guess.
So this week, the Jujutsu Kaisen anime returned with Season 3, so I think there's no better time to get back into more...
Okay, so this is something that I wanted to bring up last time I did a reaction video, which was actually the last stream, but does anyone else hate it when a YouTuber goes like, there's no better time to do this matchup? Like, okay, it's such a padding statement, and so many people say it. I think it's like such a generic stock phrase. It's like fucking the smash that like button of the power scaling community. Oh, Raditz scales higher. Well, that's debatable in my opinion, but we'll find out. Clearly, obviously, because Lonk is the master.
More power scaling topics with the series. When it comes to power scaling different franchises, I think there are certain matchups that act as the arbiters of different levels of power. If your series isn't strong enough to beat a certain character that other series can easily beat, it kind of speaks to the overall strength of the universe. That being said, I think...
I will actually... He makes a good point, because that's literally what I'm going to do with my next video. I'm going to do Dabra. I am not long for the last time, you crazy bastard. But I'm going to do Deborah from JJK, the new guy, versus Boros. And the angle of the video is going to be like, can the new gen guys kind of hang with some of the top tiers of some of the more powerful new gens? Needs like an entire like revamp on its scaling. Because if you look at the comments, look at this shit. Look at this shit in the comments. Look, there's a fucking yeah, the FTL Planet Buster versus the town level bullet timers. Like this is absurd downplay. We're it's that one fucking stupid meme where it's like our brains are devolving. Fucking our brains are growing smaller. Emperor of Humanity. Who even is that? Okay, one sec. We're taking a detour, children. Emperor of Humanity. Is this a? Yeah. Okay. Honestly, I don't know. You'll need to look at like versus battle, or if you join the Discord, there's people in there that know more about this shit than I do, but fucking. Just like look at the versus battle page and it'll be like, okay, this character is at least this strong. Probably way stronger. Why would you do a matchup so unfair? It's not an unfair matchup. Is where Boros came from, but he really is not that strong. Like he's a planet buster in his final form with his strongest attack, and I refuse to hear anyone else out on this. Like that one mistranslation. The one mistranslation on the fucking One Punch Man Blu-ray compass where it says, oh, he could destroy a star. That's a mistranslation. Yeah, okay, here it is. Yeah. Outerversal omnipresent. There you are. And then just go up like omnipresent, by the way, is not a speed tier according to the versus battle wiki, so I don't know what this is about, but yeah, outerversal omnipresent. There you are. I'm such a good power scaler, guys.
I think the single best example of this is the title of this video. Can your anime franchise stop Raditz?
The answer is yes, by the way. Even in my old JJK video covering Raditz versus JJK, there were at least 3 characters that could beat Raditz at the end. Let's just find that. Yeah, Takaba, Yorozu, and Gojo. All of them just, like, objectively beat Raditz. And I'm interested to see how Lonk justifies them not beating Raditz. Because I'm going to be honest, I've cheated. I've watched this video already. I skipped to the end because I'm going to be honest, these kind of JJK videos make me really sad. I'm like, but what about that very obvious thing? Why are you ignoring the very obvious shit that's right in front of your face? Nah, JJK is like, okay, guys, actually, I want to show you something. I was going to reveal it in my upcoming video, but I'm showing you guys this as like a little sneak peek. By the way, you should join the Discord. Like 100%. Like, please join the Discord. The balance of power in the Mega Man X fandom server is changing. But up here, I did a calculation for Gojo's Earthquake in chapter 221. And the thing is, the Earthquake does actually get to, like, multi-continental. So here, update, we can calculate total seismic energy from a published paper, 1979. I've had multiple people, including multiple power scalers in the YouTube community, check this. I've had Mr. Crafty check this. Check his videos out, by the way. Mr. Crafty is a very good friend of mine. I've had a bunch of skeptics look at this. I had Plush also look at Plush's channel. A very good friend. He's checked it. So on and so forth. Low-end, multi-continental, high-end, multi-continental. So it's because of the distance this earthquake happens. You've probably seen calcs for this that get to like island level or country level. That's because they don't take into account where Gojo's actual earthquake is coming from. They see the Japan Trench and they just type in Japan Trench to Google, and it'll be like around here or something. It'll be like 300 kilometers or something in total. But the deepest part of the Japan Trench, like Kenjaku says here, that's the Tuscarora Deep, if I remember correctly. And the Tuscarora Deep from Saitama Prefecture, like the Tuscarora Deep's all the way over here. Distance of, as like right there. That's a pretty large distance. And that's why the feet get so much higher than other calculations, because I'm actually taking into account the proper distance, but sorry for yapping.
Raditz was the first main villain of Dragon Ball Z, and was just barely defeated by Goku, Piccolo, and Gohan, ultimately leading to the first death of Goku, and opening up the universe to...
We've all seen Dragon Ball. Long. I know for a fact you're not making this video for Jujutsu Kaisen fans, so this is actually just padding out the video. That's mean, I shouldn't say that, I'm sorry. No. I shouldn't say stuff like that. I don't have anything against Lonk. I don't prefer his content. I think some of his takes are pretty bad, but I really don't have anything against him as a person. Yeah, I told you guys, people don't take into account the distance. Look, I used all the fucking versus battle wiki calculations, right? I used their fucking... This is the Mishirati intensity scale. I use that. Translate that to... Yeah, see, this is even a screenshot from the Versus Battle Wiki. I did the math right. I've had multiple people check this. And this is what the total seismic energy comes out to. So, again, like, you'll just have to wait for the video. If you still don't...
far stronger opponents. So what if Raditz accidentally arrived on the wrong version of Earth and accidentally came across the entire world of Jujutsu sorcery? Would the combined strength and abilities of every sorcerer in Curse be able to defeat Goku's brother? Let's find out. If
the answer is yes, by the way. Hold on. How the fuck do you change this? Microphone's all the way up. I talk quietly. That's my issue. I speak. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Nobody is outspeeding Raditz and they all get perception blitzed. Not true, actually. In fact, there's another calc that you will see in the video. It's going to come out the 15th of January. You will see it. It will be glorious. It gets Sukuna to, like, I'm not joking here, like NFTL+. And, like, I'm not even using Wank or anything. Like, I don't need to do this thing that Demon Slayer fans do where, like, they need to calc stack off of fucking, like, vague light speed statements. We can turn down the Undertale music a little bit. Because, yeah, it is kind of loud, but... Yeah, I'm not even... Like, I promise you guys, I'm not lying to you. I'm not, like, trying to trick you or anything. I'm just being honest. Like, my goodness. If you want me to make it up to you, Goku solos. You know, Goku beats everyone. Saitama is a fraud. Fucking hot enough. Goku beats Sun Jin-woo. Goku beats Sonic. Goku beats me. Goku's the strongest ever. So there you are. Sukuna versus Kaido. That's a little more complicated of a matchup. I got Sukuna. But One Piece does have some crazy, like, calc stacking. Or not even calc stacking necessarily. It's like multiplier stacking kind of stuff. And honestly, actually no. Kaido probably got that. I think One Piece is probably one of the fastest anime verses out there. Just because you can make really good multiplier chains for them. Like, even if they're not that strong, they're very fast. So, yeah.
If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to like and subscribe.
Will not stay with anyone. I don't care. I'm still presenting it. Like, my guy. You do understand this is just, like, the cycle of power scaling, right? Like, back in the day, the big three were all, like, multi-continental, maybe moon level, maybe FTL, if you were generous. And, like, that's how it happens with every anime. Like, even My Hero, in my opinion, I think they're at least planetary. Demon Slayer's downplayed, but they're not really that much stronger than people already say they are. Yeah, exactly. Nobody can beat Goku. Nobody can beat Goku. But yeah. Yeah, I just think all of the big three, I honestly think every anime is kind of downplayed to an extent, especially by people like Long, where they just kind of take, like, the lowest interpretation and say, this is the only interpretation, and anything higher is gay and stupid. They use it as an insult, not me. Being gay is fucking awesome. But yeah, whatever. Anyway. As fast as sound, they just objectively are. Like, even if you take the lowest possible interpretation of Jujutsu Kaisen, they are at least, like, Mach speed and faster. In fact, even that really shouldn't be, like, a debate. You just have very obvious, and I do mean obvious, I don't know how people miss this. You have very obvious light speed scaling in the series. I feel like Clyde and Seth back in the day when they had to do, like, Ichigo versus the Akatsuki or Naruto versus the Espada, where they had to prove that these characters were even light speed to begin with. And, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the natural course of all anime that you need to kind of go through the same shit over and over. You need to prove that these characters can actually move at the speed of light. You need to prove that they do scale to certain things that are very obviously upscaling the verse, so on. And it is frustrating, but honestly, I can't complain I did this to myself. I could have just been a Dragon Ball YouTuber and said, oh, well, Goku beats everyone, and everyone would clap, but now I have to be like, well, actually, I think JJK characters are strong, and they're like, whoa, you liberal, you disgusting gay. I really shouldn't turn to political insults, because that's kind of disingenuous to the opponents, but... you know, it's really funny, actually, I remember, there's a scan here. It's this one right here, the electromagnetic waves thing. Someone tried telling me that they're sound waves. The electromagnetic waves things, that was just a mistranslation. Someone tried telling me that, so I went out of my way. I found an original Jap, and I translated it with the help of one of my friends who actually speaks Japanese. But I did that, and yeah, electromagnetic waves was the original translation. So again, people, I'm gonna be real, people just have something out for Jujutsu Kaisen. But that's whatever. That's a completely different tangent.
Subscribe, and let's jump right in. So I know probably a good number of people watching this video are anime only for Jujutsu Kaisen, but unfortunately to talk about the endgame scaling of the series, I will have to mention feats, characters, and abilities that have yet to appear in the anime.
So, who wants to bet that he doesn't do that? Like, obviously he will. Like, he will. He'll talk about characters later in the story, but he won't actually cover any of the impressive feats or statements. And that's how it is with, like, all of these kinds of videos. Like, the only people, I think, that actually cover JJK well would be, like, Goji Chronic and, like, Seth the Programmer. And even then, like, there's room for improvement, if I'm being honest. Sounds like cope. It's not even cope. I'm actually just reading the manga. I use my eyes. I use my eyeballs, and like, people tell me like, oh, Sukuna didn't dodge the second one. Where is it? Where's the second one he didn't dodge? It goes from electromagnetic waves. He dodges this one. He gets punched by Kashimo, which isn't an EM wave. Kashimo can be faster than the EM waves, by the way. And then Kashimo tries using his lightning, very point blank. This might be an impressive feat, actually. This might be a good feat, but I need to calculate it. And then Sukuna transforms. Everyone's like, oh, Sukuna didn't dodge the second one. It's fodder. It doesn't count. Nah, it counts.
I will do my best to only talk about them in a vacuum and give away as few plot points as possible so that everyone can still enjoy this video. Still, consider this your formal spoiler warning.
I suppose, yeah. If you don't want to be spoiled on JJK, now might be the time to leave. Excuse me. Yeah, people always, they're like, oh, Sukuna barely dodged them. Like, dog, he's dying. People, like, JJK really is like the Bleach of this generation. People will ignore all the context, downplay everything. But, like, Sukuna's, like, on death's door. He can't even use RCT to heal his little hand there. Because, like, Sukuna has amazing cursed energy refinement. He is so efficient with his cursed energy. And even with that, he can't use RCT. He's like, well, I just gotta thug it out. And it's because Gojo hit him with the strongest attack in the series. Like, people really don't understand JJK. Like even if you downplayed Hollow Purple, I'm gonna be honest, even if you said that Hollow Purple was just like a really strong energy attack, it should still be stronger, just even narratively speaking, than like Yuki's Black Hole. And I feel like that's like a very baseline kind of basic interpretation. Oh yeah, if you think Raditz scales to Garlic Jr.'s Black Hole, and you think it's a hyperspace and not like a black hole, then yeah, obviously Raditz would just kind of steamroll the entire verse, because he's like a 4D or 5D entity. And like, maybe the World Cutting Slash could hurt him, maybe Hollow Purple could hurt him, but honestly, probably not. And that's if you think Raditz does scale to like a hyperspace or something.
Cool. Awesome. Now, in this matchup, it's important to go over the exact setup of the fight. In this scenario, Raditz is arriving on the planet with the same goal as any of Frieza's other henchmen: wipe out all life while leaving the planet intact to be sold by the Frieza Force. We see in flashbacks in Dragon Ball Super that even when entire armies of Saiyans attack a planet, they leave the place mostly intact, and even...
This is actually something that I like Lonk bringing up, because there are people who will say like, oh, Raditz just blows up the planet and wins. No, that's not fun. Like, that's not why I asked you who would win in a fight, because like I asked you that because I want to know like who would win in a fight, not who could blow up the planet faster.
And leave the remains of cities behind. In other words, Raditz is not going to be just showing up and blowing up the entire continent of Asia, or the entire planet for that matter. It's simply not in character for him to do so. As for the Jujutsu Kaisen side, the whole verse will be teamed up together in a giant army, kind of like the Avengers in Endgame or the Shinobi Alliance against Madara. So with that being said, who would actually win this? Now,
Okay, yeah. Do we really need to cover this? Because even I will, like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think any of the grade 2 level people are really hurting Raditz at all. I really don't think it's necessary to bring up. Huh, interesting. Okay.
Fight, quantity by no means correlates to quality, as pretty much 95% of the entire Jujutsu Kaisen verse, or more, brings literally nothing to the table. Pretty much any curse or sorcerer considered below grade 1 level isn't even worth talking about. Not only are they substantially weak.
Well, okay, Miwa actually just does solo Dragon Ball Z, but, you know, fodder in comparison to the all-powerful Miwa. Raditz might be able to breathe in space. It's inconsistent. The series can't really agree whether or not Saiyans can survive in space or not. Because, like, going back to the Saiyan saga, Vegeta's like, oh, I'm gonna destroy the planet. But, like, what happens after? Like, can you even breathe, bro? Or, like, Frieza's destroying the planet, and he's like, you won't be able to breathe in space. But, like, what was Vegeta's plan? Goes into space, and he's like, Frieza! And Frieza's like, wait a minute, why are you breathing in space, dog? That's not possible. Or Goku and Beerus are fighting in the atmosphere. Beerus should be like, what the fuck are you doing, dog? Like, you're not supposed to be up here. But that's whatever, that's...
With the
Oh, also, in Dragon Ball Super, the anime, Goku just, like, can exist in an erased timeline with no air, no time, no, like, laws of reality. And he's completely fine, but he can't breathe in space for some reason.
Universe grade system, specifically comparing them to real-world phenomena, with most ultimately being weaker than a...
This is, all of this, by the way, is downplay. Because, low-key, this is not consistent at all with what we see later. Even like, the Finger Bearer is low-key stronger than, like, this quote-unquote, like... And the Finger Bearer is such fodder in comparison to everyone else. Even Megumi beats it later in the story. He beats a stronger Finger Bearer.
A normal tank, but their hacks abilities are just worse as well. Like, Farmer with a shotgun low-key has a chance of beating Mai because he's got a better gun than she does. Instead, we'll be focusing...
Well, Farmer with a shotgun beats everyone, so, you know. Really, it should be like Farmer with a shotgun versus Miwa, who's the strongest, but... You know, I guess we'll do this.
On the characters whose strength is relevant and who have abilities that might actually make a difference. In other words, the special grades and those on a similar level to them. Because at the end of the day, the single main issue of this fight, at least in the context of this match, is that Raditz is strong. Even when going off of just the manga.
Here's the thing, right? Raditz can do a lot. Raditz has a lot of scaling. Yeah, Goku can breathe. Goku can breathe in a timeless void, but he can't breathe in space. Like, what is going on there? Like, he has a whole conversation with Zeno too in the manga. He's just existing in like this blank void, but heaven forbid he's in outer space. It's like that. It's like from Bleach, where like Remy's like, oh man, you know, when you're in space, your blood starts to boil, and like Apache's like, oh dog, this hurts so much. But Ichigo's, like, in a timeless void during the Memories of Nobody movie, which is canon. And he's completely fine. Like, it's silly.
Raditz would easily be a planet buster, even when just multiplying his power level off of the several moon busters in original Dragon Ball and early DBZ, a level of strength only reached in Jujutsu Kaisen through wank or highly conditional situations.
Not wank, by the way. It really isn't. It's just very blatantly a part of the story. Even if you downplay Hollow Purple, which I imagine he's going to. He's going to say, like, oh, it's not like a space-time like Duraneg hacks. It's just, like, relatively speaking, it is stronger than Yuki's Black Hole. And here's the funny thing about Yuki's Black Hole, too. I don't even use it anymore, because I don't even need to. Like, that's how good I am. I'm low-key kind of cracked like that, but... The thing about Yuki's Black Hole, it's in chapter, like, 208, I believe. Yeah, here it is. The funny thing about this technique is that... Oh, come on, you got... Dude, this website has had the worst fucking embedding failure ever in my life. Whatever, we can't even use this anymore, but... the thing about Yuki's black hole is that it's never hyped up by the narrator, by Gege himself, or themselves, excuse me, by Kenjaku, by anyone, really. No one thinks it's impressive. Kenjaku's like, oh, it could have destroyed the world, but, you know, I thought it was pretty fun. Or even, he's not even like, oh man, it's a good thing we got rid of that woman, or else Sukuna would have been cooked. He's never like, oh man, this black hole's a threat to Sukuna. The narrator's never like, this black hole exceeds Gojo's capabilities. In fact, I guarantee you, you know how like the JJK anime always has like those fucking like, with the exception of Satoru Gojo lines. I guarantee you, when the black hole pops up, the narrator's gonna be like, this black hole could have destroyed the entire planet, with the exception of Satoru Gojo. Or like, fucking something similar, with the exception of Royman Sukuna. Kenjaku's gonna be like, oh man, this black hole's really strong, but with the exception of Sukuna, or something like that.
Instead, we are looking to the abilities, combos, and strategies that the JJK world could use or employ that could potentially make up for a gargantuan gap in strength.
Is he not gonna even try to, like, scale JJK? You guys want me to... Hold on, we'll put it in theater mode. There, so you guys can get a better view. But... Timeless Void doesn't have the vacuum effect. Why does the vacuum effect matter? Okay, like, you know, the whole, like, your blood boiling and stuff, like, that's pretty bad, you know, that's no good. But, like, really just think about it, like, a Timeless Void, that doesn't even have, like, the laws of reality that keep your cells together. It doesn't even have, like, the laws connected, or, like, your soul in your body, because in Dragon Ball they have souls. Like, none of that stuff even happens. That's not in the Void, and Goku's just fine.
Something no single character can do on their own. Thankfully...
Yeah, exactly. Zeno's like, I'm gonna destroy this entire timeline, but, you know, Air, you can stay. It literally is that Mr. Krabs meme, where it's like, no, you stay. Well, that's mean.
There are several things going in the favor of the special grades. Notably, Raditz is a dumbass. Not only that, but he is exceedingly careless and arrogant. He explicitly holds back at the start of fights to the point where his own allies didn't actually know how strong he was. Nappa and Vegeta...
This is true, actually, and this is hilarious, because Raditz will hold back. Like, he's about to explain it, but Nappa thinks that the Cybermen are just equal to Raditz and have a power level like 1200, but according to V-Jump, and even like Akira Toriyama, Raditz has a power level of like 1500. Nappa's like squeaking. Nappa's just squeaking right here.
Vegeta thought his power level was the same as a Cyberman, despite him actually being...
You can have a higher AP and not be a threat to Gojo. With the exception of Satoru Gojo. Please, Mappa, if you make that statement, is like, oh, the black hole would have destroyed everything, with the exception of Satoru Gojo, of course. That's not even... I think that he does legit... Hold on. We're taking a detour. Yeah, okay. Hold on. This is so funny. Okay, that's taking too long. Okay, well, I can't find the video. Oh, wait, hold on.
I see you, my slime. Bro, you're him. Hemi John.
Okay, whatever. I can't find the fucking video, but I also didn't try to find the video. Whatever, regardless.
Being 300 power level points stronger. Furthermore, Raditz actually allows his opponents to prepare and plan against him in the middle of a battle, and even when he has the chance to finish them off, he prefers just to torture them. With how Raditz's scouter would not be able to pick up cursed energy, and how he was...
I guess we're not using verse equalization, which is fine. It's whatever. Gojo is the only one I'm 100% sure would defeat Raditz. I guess that's a fine interpretation. You can honestly argue that because of the fucking like higher interpretations of Raditz's scaling. Like he might be a starbuster situation. Where's his there it is. Even in like a cross-verse situation, he is like actually dangerous. And it's because blank is a murderous intent fuck me. Blank is murderous intent given tangible form. Bleh, explosive. Maki's soul split katana is like a Duraneg weapon, while the conceptual level is even deeper than the spiritual level. So Deborah might have, like, at worst, a really potent form of durability negation. Although, this does come with the small caveat that his attacks move at light speed, and Raditz is faster than the speed of light. So, take it however you want.
Genuinely stunned by the concept of a Kamehameha in his own power system, the world of Jujutsu Kaisen may have a genuine chance. So what sorcerers or curses can potentially take advantage of this overpowered moron? Now, the first section is a general category, and it's the characters who can attack the soul directly. There are several ways to do this. Mahito does it with his curse technique, Toji can do it with the soul-splitting katana, and Yuji can eventually do it after becoming familiar with the contours of the soul. Now, for these, Mahito is directly the most potent, as it seemingly is like an instant kill, or at least transforms whatever he touches. But if someone can reinforce their soul, even subconsciously, they essentially become immune to this ability.
This is actually a really good point. I have to go for a little bit, just like a couple minutes, but this is actually a very good point when it comes to the Mahito and Dragon Ball versus Mahito and Dragon Ball, yeah. Infinite speed compared to JJK? Not really, not in my opinion. Because like again, he would be if JJK was just like a massively hypersonic plus or sub-relativistic verse like Demon Slayer is, but. It's not. It's really fast. In fact, I put out that poll for a reason. It is the fastest of the current big three. It's not as fast as Black Clover, though. Black Clover's faster, but I'll be back in a second. sorry, I just had this. I don't think I could. I can't. Okay, yeah, so this is actually a really good point. You've already said that 5 times in the video. Yeah, okay, so something I need to say. I know Long's intelligent. Obviously, he knows something. Because if I've said it multiple times, I'm like, oh, that's actually a good point. Oh, I'm glad he brought that up. I guess that shows I'm not like a bitter D1 hater. Black Clover got real speed demons. Yeah, it's just more multiplier stacking. Because like even in like the early stages, they have like the Naruto issue where like everything is stated to move at the speed of light, or everything is just like objectively light. Even Naruto honestly doesn't even have that, but yeah, it's just excuse me. It's just a bunch of multiplier stacking. Oh, someone asked, could Super Saiyan Goku from the Namek Saga tank a hit from the Death Star? Yes, but here's the thing with that, right? People in the chat are saying like Death Star is only planetary. The Death Star is stronger than planetary. The energy required to destroy a planet as violently as it did would be honestly like closer to dwarf star level, or would just objectively be dwarf star level. So yeah, no, Goku's definitely taking that hit, but the Death Star is way stronger than people think, if I'm being completely honest.
Or at least resist it like Yuji, Sukuna, and Nanami did. The issue becomes that it's very likely Raditz has an insanely powerful soul by JJK standards. After all, the components of ki when broken down are Genki, Yuki, and Shoki, literally one spirit as described by the people of Yardrat. We even see that by manipulating the shape of one's ki, the people of Yardrat can change their physical bodies exactly like Mahito can. Now, while Raditz is infinitely worse at using ki abilities than pretty much everyone in Dragon Ball, the fact that his ki is still naturally in the thousands means his soul would have a massive health bar, requiring many prolonged attacks from
Well, okay, that's not... this guy's just squeaking now. Like, that's not how that works. Like, he was low-key spitting, but now he's just, like, squeaking. But basically what happens with this kind of thing is that it's not... happens with Mahito is that he touches you, right? And then he uses, like, as long as he's touching you, he can manipulate the shape of your soul seemingly faster than your perception. Like, low-key, he might be able to perception blitz with his ability characters that can react to, like, Mach speeds, which I might need to... low-key, I might need to calculate, but... What was I talking? Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, hold on. I do agree that Mahito's probably not going to be able to beat Raditz just because, like there's a lot of different ways that you can just say, like, oh, well, Raditz has a stronger soul. Because Mahito was, like, scared of Sukuna, three-figure Sukuna, even though he was weaker than him, or stronger than him. Like, Mahito was stronger than Sukuna in that, like, I hope people understand that. Mahito was a lot stronger. He was still scared of him. He was still scared of him. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the fucking Naruto's like, oh, hot light, but then, like, even Kakashi in the war arc gets taken off guard by them. Sorry. Or, like, you have Kakashi's lightning chop feat, where he cuts a lightning bolt in half. Sakura's like, that's impossible. No one could do that. Or even other examples where, like, Pain's Chibaku Tensei, because gravity operates at the speed of light. Pain uses his Chibaku Tensei and is like, oh man, even the incomplete Ninetales can't escape from this. So, like, it gets to a point where you have to, like, how fast are these guys, like, actually? Madara's Light Fang is definitely an outlier, though, in my opinion. I think, like, it does move at the speed of light. But, like, even Naruto just, like, casually avoids it. Madara just spits it out, no hand signs. Yeah.
Mahito to make any impact. And as for much as Raditz holds back, he's not just gonna let some random stinky homeless guy touch him for an hour. Yuji and Toji have it worse, as they actually need to deal physical damage to affect the soul with their attacks, unlike Mahito, and the gap in strength is simply...
The difference is that he's not gonna break this up, by the way. I already know. I can already sense it. Soul damage in JJK is durability negation, and like in JJK is durability negation, and like in Dragon Ball, not really, because like the souls in the other world are treated as like the same, basically, or not really, because like they get to keep their body, but like other characters like Majin Buu can just kill spirits just fine, and he's not like using any advanced form of ki or anything, so Raditz can probably do that too. Raditz low-key might have like JJK Naruto Duraneg properties, but that's a different conversation. Recoome does, though. Recoome is low-key blowing a hole through Kaguya, because his little eraser cannon can warp time and space, and spatial manipulation is Duraneg in Naruto. Whatever, I'm getting so sidetracked.
Never letting that happen. Now, an interesting case, pun intended, could be made for Higuruma, specifically in his domain. Now, for the sake of this video, we will just be extremely charitable and assume that Higuruma's domain will work on Raditz, despite this strength difference, as
actually, hold on.
it clearly has worked on people stronger than himself already.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was about to say, Higuruma's way weaker than Sukuna. Some people say, like, tens of thousands of times weaker. I don't think it's that big of a gap. But Higuruma is weaker than Sukuna. His domain does work on people stronger than him. So that's not even being generous. That's just being objective. And I know people will say like, oh well, characters in Dragon Ball can what the fuck? Dude, why does the stream look so ass right now? Oh, that's why. Okay, hold on, gang. We're gonna fix this. Now it's not. Now it's run. Now that's a lot of kilo. That's a nice, really big green bar, but for some reason it's still saying like. Well, no, I think more kilobytes is good. I don't fucking know. I sure do wish I knew how to stream. Okay. Anyway, back to the fucking review.
If this domain manages to contain Raditz, prevent all violence, and then put the Saiyan on a trial for his crimes, he is instantaneously getting the death penalty, allowing Higuruma to...
Okay, here's the thing, right? Can you even apply... Well, okay, actually, I was about to say, can you even apply the death penalty to Raditz? Because he did all of his crimes off-world. But the difference is that Raditz is inherently like a foreign invader. So he would still be tried for war crime, even just like without that. So yeah.
To use the Executioner's Sword, a weapon whose ability is literally just instant death, which again, we will be charitable and assume that that will work on Raditz.
It's not charitability, by the way. It's just being objective. I don't really understand this, like okay, I kind of get it with characters, because like people will say like, oh, you know, characters in Dragon Ball can ignore Hack's abilities if they're strong enough, which is true. But it's a lot more complicated than just like, oh, all of your hacks don't work on me. I don't know. It's very complicated, honestly. But take it however you will. I don't know.
Now, there are some major issues with getting a win off of this domain. Firstly, the confiscation of the domain would probably do nothing because Raditz doesn't have cursed energy.
Yeah, we're not equalizing energy types. You should, in my opinion. In fact, Dragon Ball even... Well, okay. Dragon Ball is a special case because cursed energy can be argued to be just like magic. They're called Jujutsu sorcerers. The name of the show, the name of the manga, literally translates to like sorcery battle or something. So it's possible that if you tried to equalize it in Dragon Ball, it would just like equalize with magic or something. Because Dragon Ball does have magic, and it is different from Ki. So like, Raditz, as someone who doesn't even use magic, might low-key be completely unaffected by that part of the domain. Can't he destroy the domain from the inside? With most domains, yes, but Higuruma's domain specifically requires you to not be violent. Right? That's not really a good way. All violence is prohibited inside of Higuruma's domain. So even if you could break out, like Sukuna, for example, could probably break out, but even if you could, it's very unlikely that you'd be able to. Just because, like, you can't do anything violent enough to, like, break out. Maybe Aizen from Bleach, because, like, characters in Bleach have, like, spiritual pressure. They can just flex it. And that's not really, like, being violent. That's just them, like, existing, and their spiritual pressure would just destroy the domain. But Dragon Ball doesn't really have anything like that.
Or at least...
Nappa or Vegeta? Low-key, I kind of think... I think Sakura can beat Vegeta, if I'm being honest. But that's a completely different discussion.
Doesn't use it, and you really can't equate the two when Ki clearly functions more like the soul does in Jujutsu Kaisen. In fact, the domain would probably confiscate Raditz's scouter first, just like how it confiscates...
I don't like that argument. That argument's so freaking stupid. Because it assumes that there's, like, Ki in the scouter, and there just isn't. Like, that's not how scouters work. We actually have guides on how scouters work, now that I think about it. Thanks to Daizenshu and the such. I think it would be probably in the Ki section. Okay, well, it's taking too long to load, and I'm impatient, so I'm not looking at all that. Are we still good? Or nope, not even close. We are very bad, actually. Why did it drop so far? That's really... Whatever. I'm not... Okay, yeah, it's fine. No, it's good. But this is false equivalency. This is not a good argument, in my opinion. But it doesn't matter anyway because of what I already said with the fact that cursed energy might be equalized to magic in Dragon Ball and not Ki. But it's whatever.
Skated cursed tools when given the option. Obviously against anyone...
Wait, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, my bad. Is like Ki. And if I was doing like a video, I would equate it to cursed energy. But I won't deny the fact that you can argue that it would just be like the equivalent to magic in Dragon Ball. Because again, like there is magic in Dragon Ball. You know, like if Higuruma fought like a Demon Realm character, then it might be like really cracked because the Demon Realm uses a lot of magic. So like Higuruma would probably be, if you're skeptical, I mean, Higuruma might be effective against those characters.
Strong, even without cursed energy, Higuruma fails to ever get the Executioner's Blade to make contact with somebody, and so against Raditz, it simply isn't working. I think Takaba falls in a similar boat, where even if we assume his ability would work on Raditz...
It would, by the way, it would. There's no reason to assume it wouldn't. I think that's... I'm gonna be honest, I think Lonk is like... This is something... Okay. Sorry, but this is another tangent. Something I really don't like with power scalers is when they'll say, like, oh, if you're being generous, and then just list something that's, like, pretty basic. Like, imagine if, like, in my Saitama video, I said, if you're generous, you know, Saitama's a galaxy buster. Like, no, that's just what he is. And then, like, the generous stuff comes with, like, higher interpretations of, like, the Goro statement and so on and so forth. Or if I said, like, fucking, like, in Goku versus Gojo, oh, if you're generous, Goku could destroy the universe. No, that's just what's happening.
He simply does not have confirmed power to make the ability hit home. For those who don't know, Takaba's curse technique in a vacuum is the single strongest ability in all of Jujutsu.
Not true, by the way. It's equal to the Limitless ability, and even then, Gojo's Limitless has a guidebook statement saying it's the strongest, so. At worst, the two are equal. At best, the Limitless is still stronger, but that's whatever.
Kaisen, surpassing even that of Gojo.
Not true. Whatever.
He can manifest into reality whatever.
Yeah, capable of opposing even Satoru Gojo. Not like one-shotting.
He finds funny. This translates to absolute chaos at full potential, essentially making him into a classic cartoon character, breaking all logic and wearing down opponents as the gags do real damage to them. But this ability still clearly has limits, even if it's just from Takaba's own mental blocks or sense of humor. Think about it this way: if Takaba's comedian ability could really beat anyone consistently, you'd think they'd send him after Sukuna rather than sending him after Kenjaku.
There's two reasons why this happened, right? One, Kenjaku was seen as the bigger threat, and they say that a good few times. They say, like, Kenjaku is the main threat. Sukuna's just like a physical force. He'll destroy a bit of Japan or whatever, but he's not gonna do anything like malicious. He's kind of like Kane from the Amazing Digital Circus, actually. Now that I think about it. Oh, and speed blitzing Takaba doesn't work either, by the way. I hope you know that. Kenjaku literally tries to do that, and he gets hit by a car. And, like, despite the car, okay, Takaba's ability kind of makes physical stats so irrelevant. Like, it doesn't matter how strong or fast you are. They just work against you. Even if we want to say, like, Goku, right? Goku's a higher dimensional kind of character, so he might be a bad example. But we'll take, like, Saitama, right? If Saitama ends up in one of these Takaba, like, fantasy sequences, and he gets hit by a car, it's going to be treated like he got hit by a car. Like, he was just a regular person. Because that's how Takaba's ability works, and I'm not even joking. And Takaba doesn't take any damage from any of this stuff. He gets electrocuted, and you can even see his skeleton, like an old-timey cartoon. Next panel. But
Now earlier, I did mention that there are some highly conditional situations within which normal sorcerers can generate a far higher level of power than the rest of the verse. Normally, based on feats and calculations, the top tiers of JJK are likely around city to island level.
That's not terrible. This isn't like back in the day where people were like, oh, if you're generous, then maybe Gojo's a planet buster. Or not a planet buster. City buster. You know, maybe. Potentially. Why the fuck is stream good, chat? Are we alive? Dog, this is terrible. You can't do this to me. And is my voice even coming through properly? Okay. Look, like, I got so scared for a second. How the fuck do you, like, increase performance on this shit ass PC I have, dog? There's a thing for that. Whatever. Anyway.
But there are two major exceptions.
Oh yeah. The black hole and the fucking Yorozu. Oh boy. Okay, let's see what I if he doesn't bring up the world cutting slash or hollow purple, I'm going to laugh.
The first is Yuki. Yuki, as a last resort final attack, can increase the density of her body until it literally becomes a black hole, which has been calculated to large planet level in power, unironically being an attack on Raditz's level of strength. The issue, though, is that if Yuki does this, unless it gets cancelled out by Kenjaku, everyone else is getting killed by this, as the entire Jujutsu world and Earth itself gets annihilated by this black hole. Raditz, as the only person with comparable power to this this black hole would be the most likely person to survive it. So at best, it's a tie, and at worst, it's still a loss for the Jujutsu verse. The other contextual attack is one that even exceeds the black hole, and is hypothetically far stronger than Raditz, which is Yorozu's perfect.
This is what made me want to make the video. Because this is really silly. Debate ended. Sukuna ain't planetary. Bro, why is my Wi-Fi so ass? Hold on, I'm gonna go fix this. Okay, how is stream faring? Better, okay. I really am sorry that the stream is lagging. I hate it when it does that. Okay, is stream better? Gang, please tell me. Please tell me if stream... Please, you can't do this to me. Okay, well, if no one's complaining anymore, maybe it's by fucking, maybe it's because this fucking, where's the? Oh, come on, it's not. Oh my god. No, I can't do that to you guys. I would never ask you to watch a video in 480p. That's a fate worse than death. Saitama is fodder and your mom. L plus ratio.
Sphere. This attack creates a sphere with no contact area, and thus, as we get told, generates infinite pressure, hypothetically making its attack potency infinite or at least universal.
It's even the versus battle wiki accepts it as a high universal attack. Actually, we could just pull up the... I spelled her name so wrong. Yorozu versus Battle Wiki. Oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yorozu, high 3A problems, whatever. But her page still has it as a high universal. As we can see here, with True Sphere, a True Sphere has no contact area and generates infinite pressure, blah, blah, blah. So, despite all this other, like, I'm gonna be real, terrible scaling, 16 fingers Sukuna is not real, by the way. That's not a real thing. High universal, yeah. Oh, also, you know what's funny about this this fucking insect armor power increase that they accept? It's on her page. Let's see, where is it? Oh, sorry, 1 second. Insect armor, blah 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 blah. It should be this one. Yeah, look at this. Oh wait, no, okay, wrong one. My bad. Probably here, actually. Innate technique, limited armor. This is boring. I'm sorry, guys. Blah, blah, blah. Yap, yap, yap. Here it is. Here it is, yeah. No, it's... Fuck. Oh, my God. I'm gonna blow up. Here it is. Finally. Fucking... Here, fucking insects can lift several hundred times their own weight. So the versus battle wiki obviously accepts this as like a power increase. Higher with insect armor, it says here, higher with insect armor. This is a 300 times multiplier, and I'm not joking. Several means 300, obviously. That's a 300 times multiplier, according to the versus battle wiki's own logic. So I better see some crazy shit.
The main issue is that this attack can seemingly be destroyed.
Oh yeah, this is the funny part. This is the funny part. This is what made me want to make the video.
Destroyed still by things
Or the stream. Excuse me, my bad.
far weaker than it, as Mahoraga adapted to it and casually popped the sphere with a single poke, and no one is calling Mahoraga universal.
Don't tempt me. I will do it.
Speaking of Mahoraga, he doesn't really...
Oh, yeah. So, that's just, like, that Lonk just kind of doesn't go into detail on that, because I'm sure even he kind of realized, like, hey, wait a minute, this is a really bad way to argue this. The reason why Mahoraga was able to punch through the True Sphere is because he had already adapted to the material that it was made out of. And Mahoraga's adaptation is infinite. Yeah, so Mahoraga already adapted to the liquid metal that Yorozu uses, right? And he adapts to it on an infinite scale. In fact, thanks to JJK Modulo, he might adapt on a conceptual level. But I'll explain that more if I ever make like one of those like really clickbaity, like why 99% of fiction can't take Sukuna in a fight. Cue canned laughter soundtrack. Yeah, fucking. Hold on. I wonder if I could get like a fucking laugh track button. Yeah, hold on. Hold on, guys. Thank you. You're too kind. We have fun here, but yeah. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Raditz is not punching through the 3D sphere. He just is not doing that. And I'm sorry. He's not adapting to anything on an infinite or potentially conceptual level like Mahoraga is. Raditz is just not that dude. He is not surviving a domain plus true sphere kind of combo. And that's one of the reasons why I listed him as one of the characters that could beat Raditz originally. Or she, excuse me. Because Yorozu is genuinely like that. Still, like, not even top 5, by the way.
Help much here. While Mahoraga's regeneration and adaptation to all phenomena is nice, we clearly see that the only thing he really can't adapt to is just getting hit hard in one shot. So Raditz versus Mahoraga would be like an even more one-sided version of Sukuna versus Mahoraga, with the battle ending with Mahoraga getting defeated by a big explosion. And
this is a little weird because originally I was going to say like, oh, well, Mahoraga's adaptation is like or his regeneration's like Majin Buu, because it is. It just is. But low key, honestly, that wouldn't matter, because here's the thing, right? I'm working up a little theory, a little meta. I'm pretty sure Mahoraga's adaptation his regeneration works on like at least the atomic level. It might be the subatomic level, but we'll just go with atomic level because Hollow Purple is stated to work on the atomic level. So if you can hit Mahoraga with an attack like that, he'll probably die. Or be destroyed, not die. Shikigami are a little different. But yeah, he'll just like, that's how you defeat him. Ki in Dragon Ball works on the atomic level. We have multiple statements ranging anywhere from like the King Piccolo arc all the way to like the Future Trunks saga in Z, where he kills Mecha Frieza. He just it's hilarious, honestly, because he like uses his sword and he cuts up Frieza, and then he blasts him, and the Daizenshuu says he turns him to atoms. And then you have Frieza, who turns people to atoms with his little like finger explodey thing, where he picks Krillin up into the air and makes him explode. That's apparently atomic. Even during the 23rd Tenkaichi, Goku's like, oh man, I'm gonna use my Super Kamehameha and turn you to atoms, Piccolo. So like Ki does actually work on that kind of level, and Mahoraga can be one shot by those kind of level attacks. So Raditz would honestly, yeah, like that's actually a really good point. I don't know why I said all that. I'm pretty sure you guys already know this.
Speaking of Sukuna, we can finally talk about the two major players. The two...
Well, I mean, really, it is 2026. I feel like we should really take into account Dabura. But whatever, you know. He's a modulo character. Doesn't matter. Doesn't count.
Strongest.
Also, we haven't seen everything he can do. He might be able to use a Black Flash or a Domain Expansion or something.
In all of Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo and Sukuna. Now again, despite being the strongest, they have no way of hurting Raditz through normal physical means. Even hollow purples and fire arrows would be doing negative damage to the planet-busting alien.
Yeah, okay, here we are, yeah. So I said it earlier, he wasn't going to bring them up. He does bring hollow purple up, but he downplays the fuck out of it. Like, I think anyone with, like, a brain... Actually, no, that's me. I think anyone who, like... Fuck, how can I say this without sounding like an asshole? Anyone who reads JJK with the intention of actually paying attention... Even that's kind of mean. I don't know, honestly. Nappa's 2 fingers versus Sukuna. I think you mean Nappa fingered 2 times. I have... Fuck it, where's the... Oh, come on. That's not fair. Oh my god. I love this channel so much. You'll never see any other power scaling YouTuber do this. I hope you know that. Oh my god, I love this channel. I love you all so much, but... Yeah, anyone who scales JJK would probably be willing to admit, like, yeah, Gojo's strongest attack is probably stronger than Yuki's strongest attack. I think Hollow Purple's 4D. I'm being completely honest with you guys. I think Hollow Purple's like a 4D kind of ability. But whatever. Whatever.
However, along with pure power, Gojo and Sukuna both have a unique potential one-shot ability in their arsenal. For Gojo, it's his domain, Limitless Void, which is a pure mental...
The translation is Unlimited Void. You fake fan.
attack that overflows the mind of those trapped in the domain with infinite information, leaving them essentially in a coma. Raditz has 0 defense against the void. Sukuna, on the other hand, has a purely physical attack, the World-Cutting Slash, an attack that hypothetically bypasses any amount of durability by cutting the space itself rather than the actual target. Obviously his most powerful move. Again,
this is actually a lie. This kind of plays into my little theory that Long probably didn't pay attention to JJK too much. I don't know why I laughed like that. I'm really in a mood. But man, I sound like such an asshole too, because I'm not even like but here it says in the manga. Yeah, just to remember, just to be clear.
Self rather than the actual target. Obviously his most powerful move.
Obviously his most powerful move. That was his exact wording. Where the fuck is the statement? Okay, fuck, we got it. Sorry, my point completely fell back. Oh wait, hold on. By the way, the virtual mass translation is a lie. That's another one of those funny moments where someone was like, "Oh, I know. I'll purposely lie about JJK." Here's the thing, right? If you throw one of the actually no, I don't need to. If you throw one of those scans into Google Translate, it'll spit back out virtual mass. But anyone who actually does do translation work will tell you the accurate translation is imaginary mass. I've asked multiple people who actually speak Japanese about this. I've spoken to multiple people that translate JJK for, like, a job. And not even people who work for Viz necessarily. I'm talking, like, people on Tumblr who do that kind of stuff. Yeah, here it is. This is from I believe this is the TBC translation, which is generally more accurate than the original Viz translation. But if someone wants to be skeptical with me, I'll go find an original Japanese scan of this, but... Why am I white? Or no, am I white? Yeah, I'm white. Yeah, but it says right here, this is Royman Sukuna's ultimate move, right here. So, yeah. Possible Duran egg. I mean, yeah, but like it just says right here, this is Sukuna's ultimate move. This is after the world cutting slash, by the way. Like this is well after the world cutting slash. Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 259. Look, chapter 259 right there. And Sukuna could just bust out like an attack that's apparently stronger than the world cutting slash. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, let's finish up the video. We have like 1 minute.
Again, while later Dragon Ball characters have shown resistance or the ability to warp spacetime, Raditz and characters of a similar level of power have not. So does that mean Jujutsu Kaisen wins? Well, no. While it's certainly
Well, no. After giving 2 things that Raditz cannot defend against.
possible to plug a controller into every JJK character and execute the perfect quote-unquote anti-Raditz plan, involving perfect combinations of all their previous mentioned abilities and more, while Raditz just completely throws the fight, everything still mostly depends on Raditz nerfing himself so much that all of these attacks or abilities actually hit him. While yes,
They do, by the way. According to the Jump Giga Math Special, which is a whole thing, it's mostly translated on Tumblr. You can go find it yourself. But domain expansions lock on to the coordinates of the target. So, like, say Raditz is, like, fighting Gojo, and he tries to fly away when Gojo uses domain expansion. The domain will adjust to wherever Raditz is on the planet, and will just, like, capture him in the domain. In fact, it might even work if, like, a character tries to fly off planet. It'll just lock onto his coordinates. But, yeah.
Raditz held back against Goku and Piccolo, these guys were still moonbusters in their own right. Plus, this whole time, I've been ignoring speed. All that really needs to be said is that one of these series is still defending itself from being only slightly faster than sound.
That's downplay, by the way. That's massive downplay. We already talked about that way earlier in the story, but like, Hollow Purple is an imaginary mass. Imaginary mass is made up of tachyons, which that's a hypothetical particle. It might not actually exist. It probably doesn't exist, honestly. But in JJK, it does. And imaginary mass moves at any speed faster than light. You have Jacob's Ladder, which is just objectively light. Even versus Battle accepts it as light. Kashimo's EM waves, which are light speed. Maki's able to dodge the world-cutting slash, which is able to outpace an EM wave, by the way. So Maki should also be at least light speed. And that scales a whole bunch of other characters to light speed. And then you have some other, like, smaller arguments, like Kenjaku reacting to a black hole. That might be light speed, or relativistic at least. Or you have Yuta in JJK 0 fighting a curse that can create, like, light pillars, according to the light novel. But I'll explain that more in, like, future videos, so...
Ultimately, while this is a fun hypothetical, at the end of the day, Jujutsu Kaisen simply isn't consistently stopping Raditz. Being honest, if Raditz sees a whole army of humans and curses in front of himself, he is just casually firing a mountain dwarfing explosion at them. While it may feel like I left people out of this analysis, like Yuta, Rame, Kenjaku, Hikari, none of these characters have a potent ability negation power that would make them anything other than fancy cannon fodder for the Saiyan. So yeah, unfortunately, Raditz wins, but maybe Modulo can change things? If you made it this...
It's pronounced modulo, apparently. I think it's stupid, but yeah. That was a video. I don't think it was bad at all. I think it was actually quite good, relatively speaking. I trash on Lonk a lot, but that was one of his... That was good. That was a good video, overall. I'll say that. I don't think it was great, but it was a good video. I like it a lot. Okay. You can just actually get banned. Not banned, but we're putting you in timeout. Please do not talk about other people's feet in my live stream. Thank you. But yeah. Mountain level is good. It's not. It's not good. I just said the video isn't like perfect, but it is good. I like the video. Not enough to like the video, but I do like the video. So yeah, look out for more content coming soon. Just keep an open mind about things. Don't die. Drink water. Let's see what else. What other really generic things can I say? Be sure to smash that like button. Fucking I don't know. But yeah, I have to go